The next award goes to one of the most popular and accomplished entertainers in the United States. She has won 3 Grammy Awards, released more than 60 best-selling recordings during her long, distinguished entertainment career in radio, television, film, music, and theater. She has performed for the Queen of England, for 5 United States presidents, and to sold-out audiences around the world.
Her music embraces 2 languages, and she is among the first artists to bridge the cultures of the United States and Latin America. She has starred in many stage productions, including South Pacific, The Unsinkable Molly Brown, Taking It to the Road, and I'm Getting My Act Together.
Like you're getting your act together. Born in El Paso, Texas, and raised in the San Gabriel Valley of California, she began performing at the age of 4.
In 1971, together with a handful of friends, she established a non-profit foundation to promote the talents and accomplishments of Latinos. Since then, this charitable organization has awarded more than 200 scholarships.
We are honoring her tonight for all of the above, along with a very special entertainment engagement, a series of performances she did with Danny Kaye in 1966 for the troops in Vietnam. Ladies and gentlemen, Vietnam Veterans of America is proud to present the President's Award for Excellence in the Arts to Vikki Carr.
When I was asked if I would come. I went with Danny Kaye, probably one of the most incredible gentlemen that I've ever known in my career. In the short over 50 years of being this overnight success, it has been really, really inspiring to me to meet people that were there from the very beginning. And I loved Danny so much. And I was doing the Tom Jones show, and I get a phone call in the dressing room, and they said, Vikki, it's Danny Kaye. I said, okay. And he says, Vikki, I'm going to Vietnam. Do you want to go? I said, sure. Well, Danny went to Vietnam from LA, and I remember performing at the Talk of the Town in London, and then there was this press conference, and there they had found out that I was going to be going to Vietnam to do the show, and they said, Vikki, love, says, how can you do this? He said, you know, it's not even a war. This is a police action. And I said, is that right? Well, I'll tell you what, I'm not into politics. All I can tell you is our boys are there. And they deserve a heck of a lot more than what they're getting from everybody. So I was very, very proud to go. Now let me tell you a little story about my conductor. Nice Italian, 4'11", arthritis, wears a toupee. And he was petrified, absolutely petrified. And I said, oh, come on, you know, everything's gonna be fine. He says, I was 4F for 2 wars. I joined you and I've got to go to Vietnam. I said, what is this? I don't understand. Then we finally got to Vietnam. Could I go over there and finish telling some of this? Because this is a visual. So then we were invited on the USS Kitty Hawk. You know how ships are with the steel ladders and the little holes. And I'm wearing spiked shoes and a chiffon dress, wrapping it around my legs, going up the stairs sideways. A Marine, internal security saying, eyes front! We get up on the deck, and we start doing a show. And the winds are blowing, and I'm trying to hold my dress down. And the guys in the back, sailors, are saying, loud, low! So then the wind died down, you see. I said, okay, now I can do my show. So I'm singing like this, and I hear Danny Kaye go, "Psst, get away from the light." What? Get away from the light. And I'm going, what? Psst, get away from the light. I said, why? What's wrong? He said, I'll tell you later. So we go down to Captain's cabin, and he says, okay, 2 things. First of all, the gowns, everything goes back to Saigon. You're not going to work in them. And from now on, you're working in your slacks and boots and stuff. Secondly, you never stand in front of a white light wearing a chiffon dress. Oh no. And he said, oh yes. He says, why do you think the boys were so quiet? That was one. And he would just shake his head to me, Andy, saying, I can't believe it. I can't believe I'm doing this. And I also couldn't believe it. But I have to tell all of you that for me, it was the most rewarding experience of my entire life. There were many funny things that happened and many, many very emotional things. And when earlier the doctor was receiving the award, and I remembered one when I was with the 101st. I was singing, and there was a young man who kept taking my picture, but it was always when my back. So I finally went up to him and I said, look, when you want my picture, just tell me, you know, and I'll turn around and I'll pose. You're not getting the best. Everything was in my back. And I talked to him afterwards. His name was Pete Rios from Chicago. And he was one of the most incredible, uplifting young men that I had met. And it turns out that he didn't carry a weapon, as none of corpsmen or none of the medics do. So after I'd come back, California, I was working the showroom, and the USO called me and asked if I would go and visit Walter Reed Hospital. And the guys had just come back. So I said, sure. And so the last ward was the paraplegic ward. And I walked in, and there he was, my corpsman, my medic. I ran up to him and I hugged him, and he said, I knew you'd remember me. I knew you'd remember me. I said, of course. So I invited him to the show, and he came to the show, and then he sat there, and you could tell that he really was in pain. I mean, he was just white and there was a sweat. But in talking to him, he said, you know, Vikki, I'm still going to conquer the world. Only this time, I'm going to sit down to do it. When we got to visit, he came out to California, came to my home. And then I heard from him, because we kept in touch, and he was telling me what he was going through, how people were treating him. And he says, I can't believe it. He says, we were over there.
You weren't in a war. You don't know what a war is. They would chase him out. And for the life of me, I can't even begin to understand the mentality of these poor people that had the nerve to put any soldier, any service person under the scrutiny to say, you didn't do anything, or you did this. If I had been there, I can tell you, I would be fighting. And the saddest thing is that you had to fight your own. Well, I'm so glad that they're finally giving you due. And that, at last, all of you should applaud yourself because you fought what you knew and felt was the right thing to do. I hope he's all right. If anybody gets back to Chicago, tell him I was asking about him. So, we're talking about the 60s and songs and music that made you feel good. You're just too good to be true. Can't take my eyes off of you. You'd be like heaven to touch. I wanna hold you so much. At long last, love has arrived, and I thank God I'm alive. You're just too good to be true. Can't take my eyes off of you. Pardon the way that I stare. There's nothing else to compare. The sight of you leaves me weak. There are no words left to speak. But if you feel like I feel, please let me know that it's real. You're just too good to be true. Can't take my eyes off of you. Everybody, I love you, baby, and if it's quite alright, I need you, baby, to warm the lonely night. I love you, baby. Trust in me when I say, oh, pretty baby, don't bring me down, I pray. Oh, pretty baby, now that I found you, stay.